Hello, my name is Amanda Myers of Photographer Hack, and I just wrote a quick tutorial on how to create a logo for your Instagram profile pic. And I decided I would just do a little video as well if you prefer to learn via video and maybe I forgot steps or wasn't clear about things. So this way you'll actually be able to watch how I did it. So this is my the logo I just created, and I'm just gonna do it again. I'm just gonna recreate it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm in Photoshop CC. This is being recorded in January of 2019. So that's the version I'm in right now. It is the most updated version. I'm gonna click File New or Command New if you're using shortcuts, which I recommend. Here we go. Now what I'm going to do is in this area here, you will, and it defaulted because I just used this, but you're going to want the width and the height to be 180 pixels by 180 pixels. That is the correct size for a profile image on Instagram. So you don't want it to be any bigger than that, or Instagram will most likely compress it and it won't look its best. So I'm just going to go with the recommended pixel dimensions there. Resolution doesn't matter. Color mode, if you're using color, you want this to be an RGB color. If accidentally it's in grayscale, when you create this document and then you try to add color, it's going to be gray, and you're going to have to start all over and recreate it. I've done that, and I'm not sure why, but sometimes mine defaults to grayscale, but if I miss it, then I'm not able to add any color to the image. 8-bit is fine. This is a tiny little profile pic logo, so 8-bit is more than enough. As far as the background contents, I want mine to be white, so that's fine. If you want it to be black or you want to choose your background color, you can go here and then you're going to tap this box or click this box, and then you can go ahead and select what colors you want to use here. Now, if you want, you can do only web colors, and it's going to be, it's going to look like this. And that's because websites and online, they don't have as broad of a color range as like photographs for print. So if it's going online, which I'm assuming your logo is going online, you're going to want to be able to use a color space that can be handled by a screen. So you can definitely do that. And then just select whatever color, and it should show it there. So if I click OK, you'll see that color there. For my purposes, I'm going to go with white. The advanced options, I have no idea, so I'm not even going to worry about those at all. So I'm going to go ahead and click create. You could go up here and just change the name of this to Instagram logo profile or something, whatever you want to call it. So you're going to go ahead and create it. So here it is. It's really tiny. And so when you're working on this big workspace, you're going to just want to increase the size of it. I'm on a Mac. I'm going to go ahead and hit Command +++ a couple of times to make it a little bit bigger for me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my marquee tool, which is up here, or I can hit M on my keyboard. There are two types of marquees. You're going to want to make sure you're on the elliptical marquee because we're going to create a circle. So I'm on my marquee. I'm going to put my little guy, this cursor, I'm going to put him in the very upper left-hand corner, or you could pick whatever corner you want, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to hold down my shift key. This is important. If I don't hold down my shift key, I am going to be responsible for trying to create a perfect circle on my own, and I cannot do it. I'll just show you what it would look like. So I'm just going to start up here, and if I try to create my own perfect circle, it gets kind of wonky. I mean, that looks pretty good, but again, you can create all kinds of shapes here. So I'm going to Command D to deselect. I'm going to hold down the Shift key. That way I make sure that I am making a perfect circle. So Shift is held down. I'm going to go ahead and drag across. My trackpad is funky. Okay, I think we're good. I'm going to let go. And now I've created my perfect circle because the Instagram profile pic is circular. I have done this before where I've created a text-based logo, and some of it falls outside that circle and it's like super annoying. So that's why we're doing this step, so that you know not to put anything in the corners. You can try to do it without this step, but I've tried that and I screw it up for some reason. So here we are, we've got our circle. I'm gonna go ahead and down here at the very bottom of my screen, hopefully you can see this, there's this little guy to add a mask. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a mask. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna make these outer layers kind of transparent. This is just so I can see where my circle is. So that looks good to me. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a text layer. So I'm going to go down here, add a new layer. I'm going to hit T for text, and I'm going to write whatever I want. The text color that I'm going to use is going to be black. And the reason is because later on, I'm going to fill it with a color gradient. So I'm going to go ahead in here, and these are all default or the same as when I created my first one. So let's pretend that the last time you used the text tool, that you were on 40.95 as your font size. Maybe you have a different color in here, so make sure that your color is black. And then again, you can center align it however you want to do it. But let's just say that I'm at a really big font. Now remember, this little document is super tiny. So I'm going to click in here, and whoa, that's like way too big. So I can click whatever I want. So I'm going to put logo here, and that's just way too big. So I'm going to go up here to my font size, and you can do it a variety of different ways. My preferred way of doing it is hovering over the T's and then just dragging it. Oh, it has to be selected. So it's not selected. I'm going to go over here to my layers panel, and I'm going to double click so that it's selected. Now I'm going to go over here to my font, and I'm going to move this down. And as you can see, I can figure out how to fill the frame with, now here it's 24.95 because it's a really short word. I'm going to hit V to move this into the center, like so. And then let's see, what am I going to do next? Now I'm going to, I want to fill it with some color. And again, you can make, if you're just using a single color, you can select it, tap on this box and choose whatever color you want to. Anything you want, if you're just going to use a single color. For my purposes, I'm going to show you how to do a color gradient. So I'm going to go up here to, I've got this layer selected. I'm going to go up here to select color range. Okay. I'm going to make sure that my black letters are now green because they are selected. I'm going to hit OK. And now you can see the marching ants, which means they're selected. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add another mask. I'm going to go down here and click this box. And as you can see, my layers panel, it has added a mask right there. Now I want to add my color gradient. You can create gradients if you'd like to. I have the one I'm going to use, so I don't need to do that. But you can certainly use your gradient tool. It's somewhere up here. Where is it? I'm not going to show you guys how to do it, but you can create it here. There's gradients over here. I'm not getting into that. I'm just going to show you how to do it with a gradient that I already have. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select this layer down here. And that's because anything I place will be placed on top of it. So if I had this layer selected and I placed an image, it would end up on top of it. You can move your layers around. It doesn't matter, but I just know where I'm going with this. So I'm going to go ahead and select this bottom layer. I've created a keyboard shortcut, Command P to place, but you would find that under File, Place Embedded. And now I'm going to find my color gradient. It's right here. I use the same one as Instagram because my business is an Insta business. So that's why I use that gradient there. I'm going to place it. And you can see here that it doesn't fit well at all. So now what I'm going to do is hold down my Shift key to be able to grab these handles and move the color around. So I'm holding down Shift. If I don't hold down Shift, it'll keep its dimensions. Okay. So if I hold Shift down, now I'm able to just move where I want it. And I want most of this beautiful color gradient to show. So I'm going to make sure it's kind of as close to letters as possible. I want to be careful though that I don't get too close because then that black will show. So I'm going to move this guy in here, and that's pretty good. I'm not going to stress about some of the room around it. I hate that that yellow isn't showing. If I wanted the more of the yellow to show, I could move this kind of up a little bit, you know, so you can play with it. But I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit return to go ahead and place that and get out of the transform. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on this mask right up here. I'm going to hold down my Option key on a Mac, and I'm going to drag it down and plop it on right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off this top text layer, and there it is. That is it. That's all it is. Now it looks super pixelated and bad. That's because I've increased it. You can see up here it's at 500%. That percentage is also down here in the lower left-hand corner. So now I'm going to hit Command minus a couple times to get to 100% so that I can see what it'll really look like. And you don't see the pixelization at all right here. So that's totally fine. Now from here, I'm just going to plus it up a little bit. If I wanted to, I could uneyeball this layer here. And then what would happen is if I were using this logo on a website or on any, I guess, any platform where the background color wasn't a pure white, let's say the background color was maybe like a touch gray, you wouldn't see this white circle. So if you're working on a grayish website, or any color website, I guess, and you want that to be all transparent, you would go ahead and click that off and save it as a PNG file. So because it's going on Instagram, the background's white anyway. I mean, I could leave it like this. It doesn't really matter for my purposes. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. But yeah, what I would do is save this as a PNG file. You could save it as a JPEG if you don't care about the transparency. It doesn't matter. I like saving things as PNGs. I even post my photographs to Instagram using a PNG file because I think you get better quality that way. So that's what I do. I would hit, let's see, Shift Command S to save as, and where do I want to put this? I'll just put it here. Instagram logo profile. Actually, I don't really want to save this because that doesn't help me. This is the one that I created. So I'll want to go ahead and save this one, actually. Let's see, and I'll call this 2019 logo Instagram profile. I think that probably will work well. And I'm going to save it as a PNG. And then save, and then it'll ask me whatever, how fast I want it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to hit OK. And that's it. I hope that was helpful, and now you know how to create an Instagram profile logo. You can add clip art, you can add anything you want in here, and you can also use a color gradient if you like that as well. Thanks for watching.